Yeah. Welcome to the Gunny Gumby Show. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Hangar HangOut. It's episode 65, and the New York Jets have a new starting quarterback. It's been interesting week. Interesting week. I mean, not really though. I think the majority of us kind of saw this coming. It was just a matter of time. We've been preparing for this for quite some time, and it's officially here. I think this actually goes a long way into officially marking the New York Jets as being in a full rebuild. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it now, right? The Justin Fields experiment is clearly over. 9 games played this year. And it's been weird, right? It's been weird, but in all actuality, it's been Justin Fields. It's been the norm when it comes to this guy. But before we talk about that, man, quick shout out to Jets Worldwide. What's up, brother, man? Nice to see you. Danger Zone. What's up, Dano? See you guys are here early tonight, man. RJ MacPot 720 was good. And of course, Vero Beach, New York Jets, man. Appreciate you all for just jumping on and hanging out at the hangar and it's talking Jets football, man. The New York Jets are officially in again, a rebuild. I don't want to say like officially in a rebuild because it seems like we're always in a rebuild, but nevertheless, it's official. We're in a rebuild. I think when you decide you're going to go ahead and bench Justin Fields, you're kind of sending the I guess the word is that it's a wrap, right? Like, we've tried it, it didn't work out. Time to move on. Get ready for I guess the next chapter. This week's to the wind out of my sails finally. Yeah, no. I think it losing to the Patriots last week was, I think, for me, the gut punch, right? Losing to them on Sunday. Because it was one of those things where, like, it was a team loss. Like, collectively as a team, the Jets did everything they could to lose that game, or did nothing to win the game. Either way, they lost the game. And it said beautiful. We found out what we already knew. A lot of individuals are talking about how they're pissed off about the waste of, 20 million or however you want to look at it, man, to bring in Justin Fields. But if I'm being honest with you guys, man, like, the whole Justin Fields thing to me, all right, let's do the math. Right? He played for us for 9 games. Gave us 9 games this year. He's averaging around 139 passing yards a game. And I think like 0.778 something passing touchdowns per game. But we're going to go ahead and round that bad boy up because he does have, I think, 4 rushing TDs. So we're going to give it a nice 1.2 TDs a game. In today's NFL, man, that's just not it. It's just not it, man. He's got 1 interception, and people will tell you he's protecting the ball. But in all actuality, you got 1 interception because you're not passing the ball. You're not passing the ball at an NFL caliber clip. So, of course, your turnovers are minimal. But hey, look, he doesn't throw much. So I don't know if that's a flex for me, that he has the 1 interception. So across the league, he's the 29th ranked quarterback in the NFL when it comes to passing. 29th ranked. Like, it's gross to even say that out loud, but he's a backup. He's playing at the caliber of a backup quarterback, one that you would want to come in, in spot situations to potentially give your team a spark or surprise somebody. But there were several teams as well that were playing backups in the NFL, and he's still the 29th ranked quarterback in the league. There's a lot of freaking starters that were hurt and didn't start off the season. There's a couple of teams playing backup quarterbacks, really. You know what I'm saying? Your Rattlers, your Geno Smiths. You're playing backup quarterbacks as starters, and he's the 29th ranked quarterback in the NFL. It's been 5 years. Like, it's been 5 years. This is his third team. At some point, you just have to be honest and call it what it is. He is not an NFL quarterback. Listen, great dude, man. Justin Fields is an awesome cat. I'm happy for him. He made it. He was able to achieve his dream. He got into the NFL. You got your contract. You made generational money. But Justin is out of the league in the next 3 to 4 years. Now, unless he decides he wants to become like the next Taysom Hill and be that gimmicky guy, he's too inconsistent. He's too unreliable. And as gifted as he is physically, he just can't see the field, man. He processes way too slow. And in today's NFL, that's just not going to get it done at quarterback. So the Justin Fields experiment is over. And I mean, we took a gamble to get him in the building, and I understand why we did that. That made sense to me, but we can now admit the gamble didn't pay off, and it's time to move on. So Tyrod Taylor's the quarterback, and well, what does it mean for this team moving forward? Personally, I think it's going to give us some opportunity to evaluate players to see what we really have right now in the building. Wild Choose in the building. What's up, Wild Choose 1792? I appreciate you. Jesse P 85. 80 was such a disappointment last Thursday. Party with Pigantar. Party with Pigandardi. I'm gonna get that one right. Party with Pigandardi. All right. What's up? What's up? Nice to have you in the hangout with us tonight. Um, damn, I'm talking just with Tigo was good. Donnelly won't have to watch Justin Fields anymore. Tigo has been on board from jump that this was a bad idea. Bringing in Justin Fields, he's been calling what we saw was going to happen since like it was announced he was going to be the quarterback, and it didn't matter how much I tried to force feed him optimism. He was adamant that Justin Fields is who he's shown us to be, and he wasn't going to change. And we got more of the same in 2025, and we got to see it for ourselves. Hey, Tigo, you're right. It is what it is. Sucks, but you were right. Sean McCader 9506. What up, Gunny? We should have kept Rodgers. He's a better QB. We are paying him anyway. Fields can't even be a bridge for us. He's terrible. Do you trust our staff to pick this right QB? So, a couple of things there. I've seen a lot of individuals, man, really rag on, oh man, we should have kept Rodgers, right? And the my only argument with the whole should have kept Rodgers crowd is this thing. Rodgers is not good enough anymore to where he was going to be the difference between us being a top 10 pick team or a playoff team. He's just not. He's not. I would even argue that Rodgers right now is in a better situation, better coaching, better weapons. Apparently, Neek disagrees with me, but I think he's in a much better position with a better defensive players, better offensive player. Like he's in a better position than he was last year with us, and he's playing worse. You know what I'm saying? Than he played with us last year. Um, Aaron Rodgers hasn't been good. Like I watch Steelers games, and I don't know how many of y'all watch Steelers games. My brother-in-law is a Steelers fan. Both my brother-in-laws are Steelers fans. My mother-in-law is a Steelers fan. So we watch Steelers games just talk crap to each other, and he hasn't been good, man. Like a lot of Steelers fans to tell you, they're not impressed with Aaron Rodgers. They're they're winning, so they're not too upset. But the fact of the matter is, they've been winning in a division where the top two quarterbacks in that division have been out of commission. They're both getting healthy and coming back right now. They've dropped a few games over the last couple of games. I don't know if they created enough of a buffer for themselves to where they can get comfortable. I could see the Bengals and I could see the freaking Ravens specifically making a comeback to go ahead and retake the AFC North. So when you really look at what Aaron Rodgers has accomplished, it's the same thing the Steelers do every single year. The Steelers do this every single year. They win some freaking regular season games, they make it into the playoffs, and then they're out, you know what I'm saying, before the divisional round. That's just the Steelers blueprint. And Aaron Rodgers back there doesn't Pickett being back there. This is the Steelers blueprint. We're going to see it play out. Rodgers has not played to a point where he's impressive. I don't know if this makes sense to me because now you're also being on the hook for that $70 million. We've got $99 million in cap space coming to us next year. That would not be the case with Aaron Rodgers being at the helm. And I think that $99 million plus the trades we made that got us all those assets are going to be key to potentially getting this thing figured out. So, Sean, it's been ugly. It's been ugly, but I don't think the product on the field would be that much better with Aaron Rodgers. Again, Great quarterback, man. One of the greatest of all time. He's first ballot Hall of Famer. We thought we were getting some of that juice when he was coming over here, but the reason why the Packers let him go was because it was the beginning of the end for the Aaron Rodgers era. Like he was diminishing. They were right. You know what I'm saying? We were wrong. We thought we were going to be getting maybe a taste of that MVP Rodgers from a couple years prior too, and it just didn't come to fruition. Um, I don't know if we're better, man. Maybe we win a couple more games, but I would still argue we're in that top 10 conversation for a draft pick if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of the New York Jets. So for me, as bad as Fields has been, unloading that $70 million to allow us to have $99 million in cap space this coming off season, I think holds way more value in what we could potentially turn this thing around to be. But I would say with Aaron Rodgers, we'd probably feel much better at the quarterback position week in and week out. Again, he hasn't been playing great, but I wouldn't say like you blame him for a lot of losses per se. Again, but he's in a better situation over there with the Steelers, so I can only imagine like how much better would it really be if he was the Jets quarterback this year in the current state that we're in. So yeah, man, I get where you're coming from, and a lot of individual Jets fans feel the same way. It's the whole what if factor of it all. I just think that Aaron Rodgers is definitively on the decline on the back nine of his career. We saw that last year, and you're seeing it even more so this year. Um, Honestly, man, I think he plays football because it's just fun for him. I don't think the work or the appeal of it is really there for him anymore. I think right now he's doing it to spite some people and try to prove something. And I think when your goals as to your whys don't align with again what your body has left in the tank and whatnot, you won't usually see the result of which, man. Yeah, I'm okay with the Aaron Rodgers departure in hindsight because this team wasn't good enough for him to be the difference maker for us to be a playoff caliber team. So we would have put ourselves in that weird realm of 6 wins where we're in purgatory because we still suck, but we don't suck enough, right, to get one of those top pick options. And we definitely wouldn't have the cap space. We'd be pushing this rebuild a couple years down the road further than we needed to when writing was on the wall, man. We just didn't have the pieces. But appreciate the comment, man. Um, but yeah, in regards to trusting this staff to pick the right QB, I understand why you bring in Justin Fields. I really do. A lot of people it didn't work out, but you look at the physical gifts that Justin Fields brings to the table. You look at the incremental progress he's made over the years. You make the excuses in regards to the help he didn't have in Chicago. You make the excuses to why the Steelers benched him because he wasn't getting the ball downfield enough. And then you wonder maybe this could be the guy that we unlock that for him and he can do it for us. You believe as a coach, which I think is a positive thing, that you can fix the guy because he's got those awesome physical gifts and physical tools. You want your coach to believe they're that good. They're good enough to fix these kind of things and fine tune a couple of things to get the best out of their players. And I think that's why they bring him into the building is because they're gambling on his physical gifts. And the coaching staff believes, yeah, nah, I know what I'm doing. I'm good enough to unlock his full potential. Unfortunately, it's just not there to unlock. I think the Justin Fields experiment is that the game is just too fast for him. As fast as the dude is, the game's just too fast for him. And if I'm being honest with you, man, I don't even know if he's really passionate about football anymore. The dude seems to take these L's and these criticisms like it's nothing to him. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad he's found Christ. As a believer in Christ myself, I can admire that he's found Christ and he's found solace and comfort in that. But I'm a competitive individual, and I still am somebody who shows passion and pride about wanting to succeed in life. You know what I'm saying? Financially, I want to make more money. I want to do bigger and better things consistently. He just seemed content to me. And I don't know if that's the kind of thought or mindset you want to have in your quarterback, but I'm with you, man. He's not the guy you want, you know what I'm saying, being the bridge for next year. I don't know what direction we take with the bridge. I don't think Tyrod Taylor can give you a full season for you to feel good about it. I don't know if we're going to be able to move up to get one of those top quarterbacks. Do you want to wait until next 2027 when you've got multiple first round picks, and apparently that quarterback class is going to be stacked, and you make the move then you stack up on wide receiver and defense in this draft class, and you go for your quarterback in 2027? Who's the bridge? I don't know. There's a lot of what ifs, man, that's on the table right now, and yeah, I think that's going to be part of the fun of it all. is at least as Jets fans, we've got this to look forward to. And I'm going to break down why I think we're in a really good position to finally get this rebuild right. Um, and I know we've people are probably looking at this and they're laughing, but I've got some legit, you know, uh, thought processes as to why that is. Just give him just give it like 5 Wildcat plays a game here on out. I mean, yeah, that would probably freaking get us a couple of points. It'd be fun to watch at the very least. They wanted Fields, said he just needed to be coached up. I also not sure in the draft altogether after last year. I feel after our first pick, we could have done better. Um, I like the Mason Taylor pick, man. I think Mason Taylor is going to be a dog for us. I like the Daisy Thomas pick. He got concussed, so he didn't play. But you saw him against the Bengals show some flashes of elite ability. Remember, Daisy man was supposed to be a top pick, a late first, early second round draft pick. The only reason why he fell to us to the third was because he ran poorly at the combine, right? And I think sometimes you look at a guy's game speed vice that combine speed, and then they just don't match up because game speed, the dude looks like he's all over the field. So I actually like this draft class so far, man. Especially Chef's kiss to Mambu. He's a stud. We saw him go up against freaking one of the best in the game in Myles Garrett, and what he did to him. I think that was a home run pick, but let's not forget we're talking about 5 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks between the next 2 years, those elite picks, and they were great with after the first. You said the first pick, okay. Even if the after the first pick, you weren't a fan of everything else. We've got 5 of those bad boys over the next couple of years. So if they hit on all 5 of those, that's a huge, huge win. We'll go into more detail about that moving forward as well. Yeah, man. I look at the way the season has turned out so far, and I think if we're being honest with ourselves, the season's over. I don't think there's a scenario or a situation where the Jets go on a ridiculous win streak and you know what I'm saying, like they they start winning games. So for me, I think we're in eval mode. I think this is the opportunity for us to evaluate this team and see who's going to be part of this rebuild, who's going to be an asset that allows this team to turn this ship around significantly faster. And that's what you do for the rest of the season. And Tyrod Taylor being the quarterback proves that the Jets might be on the same mindset. We need to evaluate what we have here. Let's start off with our guy, A.D. Mitchell. I already saw a couple of comments saying like A.D. Mitchell is trash. I've seen people talk about like, the Colts were smart to let A.D. Mitchell go or throw as a throw in the freaking trade for Sauce Gardner. I don't know about that, man. The A.D. Mitchell game had good and bad in it. It wasn't pretty in terms of, well, catching the football. I'll give you guys that. But the dude was making Christian Gonzalez look silly out there. Like A.D. Mitchell was going up against Christian Gonzalez. This is one of the top corners in the NFL right now. Kid is really good at football. Really good at football. And literally, you watch the game tape, and AD against again one of the best corners in the game got open at will. That was fun to watch. The dude is clean and violent out in and out of his routes. He's got speed for days. And if I'm being honest with you, man, I think it was a thing of beauty. I enjoyed watching him carve up Christian Gonzalez and get open. And that to me is promising, a very promising stat. Now, of course, there was some bad, obviously, because he kept dropping passes when they were thrown his way. Now, if we can be honest about it, you know what I'm saying? They weren't the easiest catches to make. His quarterback could have helped him out, but in this situation, it's Justin Fields. So then it's your job as a wide receiver to help out your quarterback. I digress. He had drops. Those were 100% on him. But I think people are forgetting, man, that, in fact, I think I have this for me to share. I think people are forgetting, man, that A.D. Mitchell was in that 2024 draft class. And in that 2024 draft class, there were some dogs at the wide receiver position. Dogs such as Marvin Harrison Jr., guys like freaking Malik Neighbors, Again, Roma Dunze, one of the dudes that we all loved and wanted to go ahead and be on this Jets roster. Some real good wide receivers in that draft class. Now, if you start from the top, right, we can see, going all the way up 16.1% in terms. So this is right here the drop rates for some of the top wide receivers in that draft class, right? These are some of the top guys. Now, Marvin Harrison, again, I think he was the first overall wide receiver taken, or was it Malik Neighbors? One of those two guys, either one and two and one, either way. You got Marvin Harrison with a 6.9% drop percentage. Okay, cool. You got Malik Neighbors with a 4.9% drop percentage. All right, okay, not bad. These guys got some hands on them, right? Roma Dunze, somebody we all loved, and we couldn't wait to go ahead and get in the building. You know what I'm saying? We were hoping it didn't happen, but we were kind of hoping. 4.9%, sorry, 4.8% in terms of his drop percentage. Then you go all the way at the bottom here. Adonai Mitchell, and for those I don't know, Adonai Mitchell is 80. That's our boy. He's a New York Jet. He had the lowest in his draft class at 1.7%. Dropping balls, you know what I'm saying? Pause. Dropping balls isn't like the norm for him. Like AD Mitchell has real good hands. Like it was an unreal 1.7%. And again, in this draft class, outdoing guys like Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., who we also loved, Roma Dunze. Like 1.7%. AD Mitchell has got some real hands. Listen, it was a bad game. It was a bad game. You know what I'm saying? He did drop those passes. It is what it is. But his ability to get open, I would say, is off the charts and very promising, if I'm being honest, for what he can achieve. And number two, do we really think a guy who had a 1.7% drop rate coming out of college is not going to be able to turn this thing around and figure it out? The dude can catch. I think he had a bad game. Look, people can have all the jokes they want about him, man, being a throw-in, but let's not forget that the Jets actually were the ones who requested that Adonai Mitchell be included in the trade for Sauce Gardner. He wasn't originally part of the deal. They were like, hey, you know what? We want AD as well. Yeah, no, we won't take those picks. We won't take those picks, but we also want AD. And then they threw in AD on the back end of it. You just got to go ahead and look at the Marvin Harrison press conference in regard, or yeah, a little conference between when he was being asked why or how he felt about the Adonai Mitchell being traded, and you can tell this is somebody who's got talent that the team was not happy about losing. It wasn't a guy that they were just like, yeah, now we're done with. They have a stacked wide receiver room. Let's just call it what it is. There was a stacked wide receiver room. AD made that mistake of that little fumble on his amazing freaking. I mean, again, if you watch that play, amazing catch, amazing play to go ahead and get open and get downfield, get to the end zone. The boneheaded mistake and fumbling the ball to the back end, right? Wanted to celebrate a little too early. Young guy, right? And he fumbles the ball. Got into the doghouse. And because of that doghouse situation, he's literally been on the back end of a very talented wide receiver room. Listen, I think AD Mitchell is going to surprise us. I do. I think what we witnessed or that game was a bad game. It happens. Some of the best players in the league have bad games. A lack of preparedness, you know what I'm saying? He was literally the number one guy. Maybe that threw him off. I mean, again, there's a lot of components to it. Still a very young guy playing in the NFL, new team, a quarterback that doesn't really give you the easiest balls to catch. I think there's more to it than just like he sucks and can't catch. I'm with you, Vera. I think those passes were shit. I do. I think those passes were shit. I'm with Dana on this one. Thrust into a prime time out of nowhere. I love to see keyboards drop rates. Like the fact that people turned on him so quickly, and again they were bad, right? He dropped the balls. Again, I don't think they were great passes, but they were NFL wide receiver catchable passes, right? They touch your hands, that's on you. That's just the name of the game. But the quarterback didn't help him. It was prime time. New team. First time he was literally the number one guy out there for the team. I think AD Mitchell is going to have us eat. Well, not us, because I think majority of us here are like, nah, the dude can ball. It was just a bad game. I think the dude is going to be fun to watch and is going to surprise us. I especially think once he's out there alongside of Garrett Wilson, the true number one on the roster, and he's going up against number twos and number three freaking out, he's going to eat people alive. The level of separation is going to be crazy. And we get to watch that with Tyrod. I think with Tyrod Taylor at the helm, you'll get to see what AD Mitchell really brings to the table. And then the Jets will feel really comfortable about him being a wide receiver 2 or 3. Because again, we got a lot of assets going into next season. We can go ahead and do some things. I can go ahead and literally bump everybody down a level, but they can play at a higher level. That will be ideal, but we'll get into that later on. But yeah, again, Wild Chu says it perfect, man. Never had a problem with catching the ball, man. He had a few drops here and there, but never had a problem. It wasn't an issue for him. Again, lowest drop rate in his entire draft class. And that 2024 draft class is elite. They got some dogs at wide receiver. AD Mitchell did his thing. I do not think, man, that this was, I do not think that this was who he is. I think this was a young kid in prime time with a mid quarterback, shitty quarterback, throwing him some shitty balls. Still touched his hand, should have caught him, and it was just a little bit too much. But I think this is the kind of game he learns from. You love the accountability afterwards. I love the fact that he took accountability for it. He said, you know what? I got to catch those. Got to help my quarterback out. He didn't make excuses. He didn't go ahead and he just said he has to do better. And you want that from your wide receiver to take ownership, even though we know it was more of a 50-50 in terms of why he couldn't make those catches. I'm excited to see what the kid can do with actual good quarterback play. I think he's going to be fun to watch. I just do. And again, this wasn't what got him into the NFL was not just his speed and how crisp and violent his routes are, but his ability to catch the ball. Like he doesn't drop the ball. AD Mitchell is going to surprise some people. I really believe that. Got this off Google. Don't feel bad. Don't feel that bad. I really thought it was worse with the Colts. His drop rate was high with 3 drops on 70 targets, or roughly. Yeah. So again, people were saying like he had a high drop rate with the Colts. He wasn't given a lot of opportunity with the Colts. He had very little opportunity. And if you watch some of those throws, a lot of them were coming from Anthony Richardson. They're Justin Fields quality throws. Like it's again, the stat sheet to tell you like, 70 targets, you know what I'm saying? You had, I think it says 3 drops. But if you see some of the throws we're talking about, man, my gosh, Anthony Richardson is another guy who's just not an NFL quarterback. He's not. He's not going to be one of those guys that last long in the league. Physically gifted dude, but it's just not there for him. So I think for us to properly gauge what we have here, we need better quarterback play. And I think Tyrod 100% can show us that. I think Tyrod Taylor can make NFL throws. I think at this stage right now, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a guy who can go ahead and make NFL throws and give us the opportunity to gauge this team. AD Mitchell, Mechie, I think, took advantage of his opportunity, got his first score. Tyrod coming in, man, we're going to have a guy who can legitimately make these throws consistently. And then we can start entering the realm of evaluation because at this point, that's what we're doing, man. We're in full evaluation mode. The Jets are in full rebuilds. There's no offensive bunch about it. There's no retooling. We're in full rebuild. And with the assortment of assets we have acquired, coupled with the cap space for days, we need to evaluate the players that will be a part of this process moving forward over the next couple of years. This is very, very important. These last 7 games, 8 games, they're extremely important because we need to know who's got what it takes to be a part of this turnaround. I think Tyrod Taylor is going to allow us to see that, and it's going to give us the best chance to evaluate individuals going into next year. So with that said, I think we also need to start talking about something differently, right? Garrett Wilson. I think it's time we really start talking about shutting down Garrett Wilson. I do. Look, he's clearly wide receiver 1. Now, wide receiver 1 currently on the roster, but may slide into wide receiver 2 territory depending on how the draft, you know what I'm saying, and the offseason kind of plays out. I'm going to leave it at that. So for me, I think it makes sense you just let the guy, you let him get healthy. You let him sit out, man. Garrett Wilson sits out, get healthy. That's going to hurt my fantasy football team. I ain't going to lie. There's a couple of teams right now I have Garrett Wilson as wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2. But We already know he's one of your studs, man. You got to protect him. He's one of the studs on offense. You protect him. He's a Jet. He's already got the contract. He'll be here next year. We already know this. Now he can pursue his 1,000 yard, per season record as a mark for when he plays the full season. He's not going to hit that this year. So why risk getting him out there to chase personal accolades? Because you're not chasing a playoff spot at this point. You're evaluating players. Sit Garrett Wilson, man. Let him get healthy. He tried to come back. He got hurt again. The season is over. It's just when it comes to contention, season is over. Evaluation is all that matters now for me. You sit Garrett Wilson. You protect Garrett Wilson. I'll take the L's on my fantasy football team. I'll hold that. I'll take those L's, but you protect this guy because he's one of our assets on offense. Brees Hall. Listen, man. I don't know what we're doing here. I think Brees Hall. I think this is the easiest thing you can do all day. You just have to sign the kid. I think you sign the kid. I think you give him the contract. I saw something that said along the lines of 12 million a year over 4 years, $48 million. Give it to him. Give it to Brees. I think when you look at what Brees Hall brings to the table, it's a no brainer. You're going to have $99 million in cap space this offseason. Then you're going to have over $200 million in cap space next season. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Brees will make our young quarterback's life easier. He just will. Pay him. Let's pay this man. Let's get him his first 1,000 yard rushing season because he's on track to do that. Let's get that for him. I think he deserves that accolade. But then you go ahead and you give the man his contract. He comes back next year. Boom, you've got your RB1, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. And then you make the decision on if you're going for the quarterback next year, another bridge guy, whatever it is. But Brees Hall, you sign him. He's in his prime. He's going to make your young quarterback's life easy. I don't know why we're even having this debate. I don't even know why it hasn't been done yet. Like, he's a great running back. He's really good at football. Like, it's beyond apparent. Sign him, extend the man, pay the man, give him the money. It's nothing. You've got $99 million in cap space this offseason. 99 mil. 200 plus million next offseason. So for me, I think this is we're playing games we don't need to be playing. You pay the man. You pay the man. Let's see what happens. Reggie Wayne was pissed. Reggie Wayne was pissed. Like, I actually watched that press conference. Reggie Wayne was not pleased about the trade of AD Mitchell. He doesn't understand it. He even wanted to say, you know what? I don't have a say in this because clearly, if he did, he wouldn't have been traded. That's why I'm saying, man. And I want to wager that Reggie Wayne knows wide receivers. He's done a pretty good job over there as the coach wide receiver coach. So to be upset about it is a good thing for us that we got ourselves a guy. Now, how high his ceiling is, we'll find out. But he's got all the physical tools. Clearly, he needs to get out of his head because those drops, or a lot of them, are mental. If he can get out of his own way, man, this dude could go ahead and be a huge compliment to Garrett Wilson. Danger Zone said, "I bet he'll be better with Dante Moore, but that's just me. Best long ball around." Yeah, I don't. I'm not a fan of the Dante Moore. I'm not a fan of Oregon quarterbacks, man. I'm just not. Look at Bo Nix. I'm not a fan. I feel like those guys are gimmick guys, right? They're gadgety. And same way I feel about like Alabama quarterbacks. I'm not a fan of Ty Simpson, and not because I don't think he's played great. I think he's played great. I've enjoyed watching. I just don't trust Alabama quarterbacks. They haven't worked out in the past. I've got a stigma against those types of quarterbacks. It's purely emotional. It's not based off of any real fact, or it's just purely an emotional thing for me. I don't like them. So for me, it's Fernando Mendoza in this draft class. It's Fernando Mendoza, or you wait, you draft freaking old boy out of Penn State at a later round because he's hurt. He's gonna drop on the board. So you take a flyer at him in the second round. What's his name, man? Penn State quarterback. We all liked him last year. I'm having a brain fart. Don't mind me. But you draft him in the second and see what he brings to the table. And then you know what? I think in 2027, you still go and get your quarterback with the first round pick. I'm sorry, man. I think this is one of those things where you got to go ahead and go back-to-back years at quarterback. If the guy you bring in this year isn't showing you enough to where you know he's him, I'm sorry, man. You if you don't have the quarterback, none of it matters. So I'm definitely team go back to back quarterbacks if you need to, because you're in a position to where if you get it wrong again, especially with the arsenal you have right now, then I don't know if this team has the opportunity to actually turn this thing around. I'll get more into that later on, but I think we've kind of got to go ahead and make this happen in this window we've just been blessed with, because it doesn't get easier. I think it gets harder. Danger Zone says, retired 80 already. What's up, brother? Appreciate you, man. Happy hump day. It is hump day. It's Wednesday. Thursday's tomorrow, and Friday is my Friday off. So I'm actually excited about that. I don't got to go into the office on Friday. So that's awesome. Uh, Garrett Wilson and Brennan should both play before end of year. I think there's something to be said about finishing whole. No, I disagree. I think you're probably right that they wind up playing, but I disagree. Um, I think getting through this season healthy with your studs, knowing that they're going to be ready for training camp and any kind of offseason workout programs you want to put together, I think that to me has a lot more value, especially when you're looking to rebuild this team. Maybe they want to spend some time with some of the rookies you're going to be bringing in. Yeah, for me, I'd rather have those guys healthy, especially if you don't re-sign Brees Hall. Brandon Allen slides into running back one unless you draft a guy in this coming draft. So, yeah, I don't know, bro. I just don't see why we should risk, you know what I'm saying, like any of our studs just because, right? Like I'd rather go into the offseason healthy. I don't know how to tell you this, Gunny, but Brees is getting traded in this offseason, which is why they have him. He won't get traded if we don't sign him. He's done. He's gone. He's a free agent. He's not. He wasn't a first round pick, so this is year 4. If Brees doesn't get a contract, we lose him for nothing. Maybe comp picks, depending on what kind of contract he signs. But for me, I want to keep him in his 20s. Yeah, Dan, I would want to keep him in his 20s in the building. Don't forget, one year he didn't play the whole season because of the ACL. So the miles on him, you know what I'm saying, would be relatively fine for me. 4 years, 12 mil a year, and you worry about getting the running back position set. Him, Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis, you're set. You only bringing somebody else in for fun. And that way you're good at that position for the next 4 years. There's nothing to worry about. You've got a real good running back room with those three guys. So yeah, I would go 4 years, or 3 years. I mean, honestly, as long as you give him more than two, I don't want to give him 2 years. Give him 3 years if that makes you feel more comfortable. I'm okay with that too. I just think he's what 25, 24. How old is Brees? Brees isn't his. The 4 year mark would put him in the Brees Hall age. So he's 24. So he'll be 28 years old. So yes, give me him in his prime, right? These are his prime years. Give him that 4 year contract, bro. 28 years old. Thank you for your service, brother, man. But at running back, at that point, the value definitely does go down. We all know that. Some guys can defy the odds, but that's shelf life. We get to keep Brees Hall in his entire prime. Yeah, give him 4 years. John Mateer is a late first round. It's offense. I wouldn't be upset with John Mateer. I wouldn't be upset about that. I have heard Justin Herbert a lot. I don't know, man. Um, and I, I look at Justin Herbert and I see another guy with a lot of gifts, a lot of talent, a lot of talent that just seems to be struggling to put it all together. And when you're in a position where you've got some of the best wide receivers in the game, you've got one of the better coaches in the game, you've got one of the better offensive line, and you still are making decisions that just don't make sense. Like I don't know how we would fix you. I don't know how the Jets of all teams would be the team that fixes you. So for me, I if you bring in Justin Herbert, am I going to be upset? No, I won't be upset. The ceiling is there, but man, I kind of feel like he's one of those guys that's going to be too. If Harbaugh can't fix him, we can't fix him. That's what I'm saying. I don't think we can fix him. I think if you can't get this guy to be Justin Herbert every single game, know what you're getting every single game, I don't think we have the tools to fix the guy. Thank you, Jets Worldwide. Aller. Bring it out because he's going to drop into the second. And this is the guy we all wanted in the first round last year, but he went back to school. If you tell me we can't get Mendoza and you can go ahead and get Aller in the second, get him. Get him. He's hurt. Injury is why you're not going to see him get drafted in the first round this year. If somehow he actually hits the second round or even worse because of the injury, go get him. Go get him. Let's see what he brings to the table. Big body dude. You know what I'm saying? Got some athleticism to him. Got the strong arm. He's played out in the elements. Like he hits a lot of wickets. Can he go ahead and do it at the next level? Bring him in. Bring him in. If he's not the guy, congratulations. You've got assets to get your guy the following draft. I'm telling you, man. People call me crazy if you want to, but if Drew's playing by the end of the season, you're like, man, the dude might be backup caliber of a quarterback. He's like you're starting to say he could be a really good backup in this league. And no, bro, get a quarterback. I don't get a quarterback because if you don't have that dude in our division with Drake May figuring it out, Josh Allen being Josh Allen, we're going to be fighting for third place every year. Get the quarterback. Get the quarterback. So it doesn't matter if that position is not right. That's just the name of this game, man. You need a franchise quarterback in this NFL if you want to compete in this NFL. So if we go for Aller in the second or whichever round you want to get him, he's available. You go grab him, right? I wouldn't say first because the injury is concerning, but you go grab him, and then he shows you what he's got next year. Again, this was a guy who's going to be a first rounder last year. That was the that was the comp. He was supposed to be a top pick this year coming into this year. Injury has set him obviously down the draft boards. Take a flyer. You took a flyer on Justin Fields. Take a flyer on this guy. You got the assets. Doesn't work out, cool. Next year you go get your quarterback because 2027 is gonna have more options in it. This year it's Mendoza or Simpson is a clearly 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, whichever one you want to look at. So I think you got to get a quarterback in this offseason. You got to bring in a quarterback. Aller's worth to me taking the shot. At worst, you got yourself a backup quarterback when you get your go-to guy next year in the draft. Moore is the best QB if he comes out. Nah, I'm a Mendoza guy. I'm sorry, I'm a Mendoza guy. I've seen enough. I've watched Indiana football. I've watched Alabama. I've watched some of the Oregon football as well. But I'm sorry, man. I think Mendoza's the dude. You like his character. You like his ice in his veins and who's clutch. He can use his legs. He can use his arms. It's Mendoza for me, man. It is. But again, I also was a believer in JJ McCarthy. I thought JJ McCarthy was going to be a dog. I thought Drake May was going to be a bust. I am not a professional. I'm gauging this off of the little bit of information I've learned over the years and watching tape and trying to understand the concept of how they see the field. You know, I get a lot of my training from the Dom C's of the world, from the Joe Blewitts. I'm trying to get, so I am not a professional. I'm just saying I like what I've seen in Mendoza, but I was also saying last year I love what I saw in McCarthy. So we'll leave it at that. I'm not a scout. I'm a fan that does content, and I love football, and I watch college and NFL. So I'm not that high on Moore, but if the coaching staff believes that Moore's the dude, then go get Moore. I honestly, bro, I don't care. You've got to get a quarterback that you believe in and that you think can do it at the next level. And if you're wrong, good, fine, bro. Just go get your guy in the 2027 draft. You cannot afford to get it wrong over the next 2 years. If that means you got to take 2 swings at it, then you take 2 swings at it. I don't care. You take 2 swings. We need to have a franchise quarterback, especially in the AFC East. We're the only team without a quarterback. Tua, when he's playing good, he plays really good. It's inconsistent, but when it's good. We haven't had a quarterback in the division, man, in my gosh, man, since when's the last time we had a quarterback we could actually be proud of? Ryan Fitzpatrick? Is that the last time we had a quarterback we can be proud of? Old man Ryan Fitzpatrick was the last time we probably had a quarterback that Jets fans could look at and think to yourself, yeah, I see it. Oh no, I will be. I've been watching every Alabama game, every Indiana game, every Oregon game for the last like 4 weeks now. Ever since we realized we're back in this square of needing a quarter, 4 weeks now. I've been watching them all, so I'll be watching Oregon and USA. I will. Need a bridge quarterback. I don't want our rookie to start. Justin ain't it, and Tyrod is hurt too often. I don't think Cook is a bridge either. So what do we do? That's a great question. What? That's a great question. I mean, Jacoby Brissett's going to be available again. Right, going to be back out there. Um, there's real conversation right now about the potential to make trades for some of these guys who are later in life. I've heard Kirk Cousins being brought up a couple of times as well. Uh, I don't know, right? Because if your bridge quarterback comes in here and he has one of those seasons where like it just everything pans out for him, my fear is we start believing he's our version of Jared Goff, right? Like, oh, we can go with an older quarterback and just run it with him because he obviously could win us games. But honestly, between you and me, between y'all and I think we're going to miss an opportunity here if we don't make the right choice over the next 2 years at the quarterback position. Like this is it, guys. Like this is it. If we don't get it right over these next 2 years, Jets fans, like family, we're in purgatory for at least I think the remainder of our adult lives. I think for us adult Jets fans, like if we don't figure this is a window of opportunity right now that we've never had before in regards to this rebuild, right? And I say that and people think you're a Jets fan. You've been saying this, you know what I'm saying, like before. But so the defense right now is a work in progress, right? Let's be clear. Defense is gonna need some work. But guys like JFM, Trey Henderson, the type of guys you can bring in next year, and you immediately add to this defensive line, that elevates them into a top 10, 15 unit with what you can do, of course, in the draft and other pieces you bring in. But this rebuild can go right for us. It really can. We have the draft picks, we have the cap space, and our coach has the relationships. Now, if we get the QB right this draft or in 2027, we can finally start to see the Jets enter a world of relevance. Now, I know we've said this before. I know this isn't the first time we've said this, but this isn't a joke. Think about this. The Jets have never had the framework laid out like this over the last several rebuilds, right? We've never had the cap space and the draft picks at the same time. We're going to be fourth in cap space this offseason. We're going to be first in cap space next season. In those same 2 years, we're going to have 5 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks. The draft picks alone are like franchise-changing assets, right? There's no denying that. But we also have a top 10 offensive lineman, and they're young. Bunch of young guys on their first-year contracts, and they're right now operating at a top 10 clip with one of the slowest processing quarterbacks of all time in Justin Fields. So I can only imagine when there's an adult back there playing the quarterback position. We should be excited as a fan base. We should. The fact is this. If the regime uses these assets and hits on 50% of them, I'm talking about spending the money, drafting the players. If you hit on 50% of them, you start making some real noise on Sundays. Like teams are going to have to pay. You'll make some noise. But if in that 50% you hit on the quarterback position, you're a playoff contender. You're a playoff contender because you've got the cap space, you've got the draft picks. If you hit on the quarterback position and 50% accumulation of assets based off of what you now have at your disposal, this is a playoff caliber team. Like that. 2 years. You go from being worse to, I'm not saying first because that wouldn't mean a Super Bowl, but you're a top team in the NFL because you got those things right. The odds are really in our favor this time around when it comes to this rebuild. Like, I get it, man. We're the Jets. We're gonna, oh, you're the Jets. You're gonna mess this thing up. Whatever, man. Like, we haven't messed up first and second round draft picks in quite some time, unless it's the quarterback position. That's where we keep kicking ourselves in the ass. To mess this up would be an epic failure. Like, and I'm talking about, in all actuality, if we mess this up, it's over. Sell the team. The franchise will never see success, because in this time, in this moment, this is the opportunity the football gods have not presented to us. They've offered this to us to fix this finally, so we can get out of the purgatory that is Jets football. If we get it wrong, then we simply can't get it right. That's it. Simple as that. If we get it wrong, we just can't get it right. It means that we're just going to have to enjoy misery, because that's all we're ever going to know. I truly believe if over the next 2 years we can finally turn the ship around and get us back into the world of playoff contention, great. But if you can't, with this amount of resources at your disposal, we're cooked. We're cooked. The fan base, the franchise, the football experience, it's moot for us. I don't know if there's a way for us to come back from it. Like, this is your window, a 2-year window to finally do it right, because you've got the money and you've got the draft picks. If you can do 50%, we're not asking you to hit 70 or 80 or 90%. 50%, if you hit, that's an F. That's failing in school. But if you can hit 50%, that this team, this roster turns around. Just like that, 50% turns around. And if you can't, well, I don't know if we can. I just don't know if we can, man. I think our opportunity is now, man. And if we can't figure this thing out, brother, it's just not meant to be. It's not in the cards for us. Purgatory is our name, and we just got to enjoy being cursed, because you very rarely are you in this position. In the last several rebuilds, we have not been in this position, and we are now. We are now. But my gosh, I see Modine's in the building, and he wasted absolutely no time. I'm salivating with how bad the Jets are going to blow it. The scary part is, based off of historical events, that's also a reality, that the Jets could somehow find a way to have this treasure trove of assets and blow it. And blow it. And I think that's what we have to worry about as Jets fans, is if this team can't turn it around with everything given, everything that's been blessed upon them by the football gods over the next 2 years, we can't turn it around. We're not meant to turn it around. It's over for us. And as Jets fans, we have to start getting comfortable with the idea of forever being miserable, or forever being victim to the Modines of the world, should write Hollywood scripts with this fantasy. I just feel like, Modine, if we're being honest, if they can't figure it out now, man, it's over. Like, maybe it is fantasy, but the fact is, the odds are so stacked in their favor when you're talking about, again, the draft assets and the cap space and a coach that is respected and well known amongst players in the league, to where you should be able to draw some pretty good free agents into the building. If you blow this opportunity, you are the joke that everybody says you are. Like, you're the franchise that it's the LOL Jets. Like, all those things become true. They become reality. And unfortunately for Aaron Glenn and Muji, they will be associated with being the two that had everything given to them to fix this franchise, and instead pursued the same old Jets mentality. And it sucks that's going to be their story, but that'll be their story, because you've got way too many assets, you've got the chessboard in front of you, and checkmate is just a few moves away. And everybody sees it. It's a few moves away. And can they blow it? I hope not. I'm I'm really hoping they don't do this. But my gosh, it would not shock me if somehow, some way, this happens to us. Jesse says Jets should try and make the Steelers an offer for Will Holler, 2028 third round pick or a second 20. Do this better than Aller. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind a third to go ahead and see what he brings to the table if you wanted to go ahead and use him instead of Aller. But I think they really like him as potentially being the replacement post Aaron Rodgers. Um, I wouldn't be opposed to that. A third to get Will Howard in the building, I'd be okay with that. Why are we putting this negative energy out there? It's not putting it out there. It's just it's so obviously clear that in all the rebuilds we've endured, you know what I'm saying, as Jets fans over the last couple of decades, we haven't had it like this before. We've used cap space before to do the rebuild and then the regular draft. We've used draft picks before to do the rebuild with not a lot of cap, but never have we had the opportunity to have both huge components of the offseason in our favor as a fan base, like this. And I think that if the Jets can't make it work finally with this many opportunities, when you only really got to hit on 50% of them, that's telling. And I think that's what makes it so damning is that you don't have to bat 1,000. You don't even have to bat 800. We're not asking you to 50% with this many assets to add to this roster, and you should be in the playoff conversation. 50%. And if you get the quarterback right, yeah, like you're cooking with fire, you're cooking with oil or gas, whatever, cooking with gas. And the question is, can these guys hit 50%? Can they get an F on the test rather than an incomplete? That's it. Can Muji and Aaron Glenn get an F on this test over getting an incomplete? That's what it boils down to. Dangerous Toy Night to be one. Modine, Gunny, the world isn't going to end even if the Jets were to blow this. Even after that, in one draft, with choosing a future Hall of Famer QB, the Jets can win big. Are you saying they can't win? Because that seemed pretty positive. I think he's doing fine. I'm just saying, I don't know if we see it in our lifetime, Mo. That's what I'm saying. Like, if the Jets can't figure it out over the next 2 years with this many assets and a generational draft, as they say, in 2027 coming their way, when do they? Like, really, when do they? I'm not getting younger. Like most of us aren't getting younger. Like we're hoping to see this team at least make it to a Super Bowl in our lifetimes. And that's where I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, like, if you can't get it right over the next 2 years with all this arsenal that literally is tilting the NFL in your favor, I just don't know if we get to see it in our lifetime, man. Would you spend 3 first to go from 8th overall to no? No, sir, I would not. My number for Mendoza is 2 first. 2 first, and if you want to throw in a second, I'm willing to listen to that too. But 3 first to go up and get Mendoza from it, no. Nah, wait till next year and go get your guy then. Next year is the draft class where I feel like you sell the farm to get your quarterback. If you can't get your quarterback in this draft class, that's fine. Go ahead and stack up on wide receiver, running back, linebacker. Yeah, go and do that. And then next year's draft class, if you want to sell the farm, sell the farm. I'm not giving up 3 first for Mendoza. I like him. I'm not saying he's one of those generational types. I'm not saying he's even better than some of the guys we saw last year coming out in the draft. I'm just saying that in this draft class, he's that dude. Like, he's him. And I like what I've seen. Very nice. Very, very nice. So for me, Mendoza's the dude. And if it's not him, then so be it. That's fine. 2 first, and I'll throw in a second. That's my max that I would be willing to move up to get Mendoza. If it's going to cost more than that, nah, that ain't it. Modine. Gunny, I'm usually negative, but they sound like you're telling me the sun is going to turn off. I'm I'm just saying. I'm just saying, Mo. Like if we blow it, I mean, think about that. 50%. I'm not asking for them to hit all home runs. 50%. If this team, if we can't hit 50% on this many assets, and I'm including like even free agents you bring in, 50% of those guys have to be hits in order for this team to turn things around. If we can't do that, brother, I don't know, Mo. I feel like at this point we're lying to ourselves, and I'm usually very optimistic. But the more and more I think about it, the more and more I'm looking at it, and I'm like, we can't blow this. We cannot blow this. Like this rebuild has to be the one that takes us back to the playoffs. I'm not saying win a Super Bowl. I'm just saying you got to. This has to take us back to the playoffs, or otherwise, it's going to be a very long wait. And I don't know. I do feel like it's doom and gloom if we don't get this one right. But nah, you're right. Usually you are, but maybe you're rubbing off on me a little bit, Mo, because I really believe this is it. We get this one wrong, and it's it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Wild Two says, I'm not trading any assets for any of the QBs this year. I mean, in all actuality, I ideally I wouldn't want to trade any assets either for any QB this year. I like Mendoza a lot, and I think he's the guy in this draft class. But if we're talking about trading assets, I would rather freaking rack them up for the 2027 draft class so you can go ahead and have your options then. But there's a lot of talent you can add in this draft class, like linebacker, wide receiver, running back, even if you don't keep Brees, that can go ahead and prepare us for our quarterback of the future next year. At which point you're going to be asking yourself is who's the bridge guy? Who's the bridge guy? Boom. All right, y'all. That's the show. Mendoza. That's the hangout for the night, man. I appreciate y'all, as always, for chopping it up with me. Again, we are trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. I want to say thank you. We hit 1.8, I think 1.85 over the last couple of weeks. I saw a dramatic increase in subscribers. I appreciate you all for your support. I appreciate you all for chopping it up with me. It's always fun talking Jets football, even in the worst of times. Yeah, man, we're officially in a rebuild. It's all about evaluating the players we have on the roster now. I'm gonna see if I can get a couple of guys on the show the next couple of weeks to talk the draft, to talk about freaking some of the guys on the roster. Maybe Dom C, I can get him on so we can go ahead and really start breaking down some players and what we should be looking at, when we should be looking at trading assets and making those kind of moves. Because again, if we get the quarterback wrong, I think it's a wrap, right? But again, if we can't hit 50%, I think it's a wrap. Maybe I'm being negative. I just don't see another opportunity like this coming in our lifetime where they're having the assets in cap space and the assets in draft capital. This is the time. Get it. And again, we're just asking to get back to the playoffs. That's how broken I am as a Jets fan. I'm not even talking Super Bowl. I just want to go ahead and get to the playoffs. That's what I'm asking for. Jets fans wanted to trade away assets for Mendoza. Well said, Dane. Yeah, I'm not talking about asses. I'm just saying like 2 first, which is our original first for that round, and then one of the other ones that we got, and a second at most. That's it. That's all I got for you. But again, I think the 2027 class is better, and I'd wait if you can't get a quarterback you're comfortable with in this draft class. But we're gonna need a guy. We're gonna need a guy. I appreciate you, Mo. Appreciate you, Dano. Appreciate you, Walter. Appreciate you all, man, for jumping on. Jesse, I see you in here as well. DJ Dirty Coach, I see you in here as well. Appreciate you all for jumping on. Big Will. If I miss you, I apologize. But as always, man, go Jets. Looking forward to seeing you guys again. Yeah, let's do it again next week.
I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance man.